Skarloey and the Incline. It was a really cold winter on the island of Sodor, and the engines of the Skarloey Railway were being kept particularly busy. The mountain villagers needed lots of coal for their fireplaces to keep warm. Skarloey and the others were kept very busy delivering coal from the mines to the villages. This meant having to go to a coal yard with an incline added. This incline ran almost the same as the one at the slate quarry, but it was used for coal trucks instead of slate ones. Peter, Sam and Duncan were very careful when they went to this incline, because otherwise they might damage their funnel or fall into a muddy ditch. They did not want either of those to happen again. Skarloey was very cautious too. The last thing he wanted was to have an accident with it. One day, Rheneas was shunting some coal trucks up to the incline. He wasn't frightened of the incline, but even he had to admit it was quite high. "It's a lot higher than the one at the slate quarry, that's for sure," he said. "Well, you shouldn't compare an incline by its height," chuckled Skarloey. "They're just as useful as each other, no matter how high they are." But then, a coupling snapped on the winch, and some empty coal trucks came rolling towards Skarloey. "Oh no!" cried Skarloey, and he hurried backwards as fast as he could in order to get out of the way. When he could, Skarloey switched tracks and watched all of the trucks rush past him. He whistled to warn a signalman, who changed the point just in time. The trucks crashed into the snowbank. Mr. Percival, the Thin Controller, came to congratulate Skarloey. "Well done, Skarloey," he said. "If it wasn't for you, there might have been a much worse accident than that." "Oh, thank you, sir," chuckled Skarloey. A little later, Peter Sam went to talk to Skarloey. "I think you were very brave to get out of the truck's way," he said, "and warn the signalman." Skarloey blushed. "Well, I wouldn't want it to go to my smoke box," he chuckled. "Och, aye," grumbled Duncan. "If you're so brave, why don't you go and climb the incline to see how brave you are? Brave Skarloey." "Don't be preposterous," snapped Skarloey. "Why would I ever do that? It's completely and utterly dangerous." But of course, Skarloey knew that Duncan was only teasing. Later, Skarloey shunted some empty trucks onto the incline for them to be hitched on. "Silly Duncan," he said, "thinking I should climb the incline. How silly! Then again, that's just the kind of engine he is, I suppose." But Skarloey was so busy thinking about what Duncan had said, he didn't realize that the shunters had forgotten to uncouple him. Soon, he was being pulled up the track with the empty trucks. "What on earth?" he gasped. "Why am I going up the incline?" Just as this happened, Rheneas and Duncan arrived. They gasped when they saw Skarloey. "Look where Skarloey is!" called Rheneas. "That can't be safe." "It's normally me that does that," remarked Duncan, remembering his own experience. When Skarloey got to the top of the incline, it happened. He was much too heavy for the winch to hold his weight, so suddenly it broke. A coupling on the truck snapped, and Skarloey raced down the hill. When he got to the bottom, though, he couldn't stop. "Help!" he cried. His driver tried to apply the brakes, but it was no good on the icy rails. Skarloey raced through the transfer yards and straight into the same snowbank where he'd stopped the trucks. A little later, Skarloey was pulled out of the snow by Rheneas and Duncan. Along with them was Mr. Percival. "The accident wasn't your fault, Skarloey," he said. "But this does mean that the mountain village probably won't have enough coal tonight. And it's very cold." Skarloey felt terrible. Even though he didn't cause the accident, he still felt that he'd let everyone down. But that evening, he came up with an idea. "There must be some spare coal trucks somewhere in the sidings," he thought. "Maybe I can go and find them." And he was right. There were some spare coal trucks. As it happened, Duncan and Rheneas were collecting some as well. Duncan spotted a chance for another tease. "Not gonna climb the incline again, are you, Skarloey?" he said cheekily. Rheneas gave him a stern glare, but Skarloey just chuckled. "No, I'm not, Duncan," he said. "That would be very foolish of me." So Skarloey was coupled up to some coal trucks, and he puffed out of the yard. He arrived at the mountain village just in time for the coal to be placed in the fireplaces. All the villagers cheered for Skarloey, which made him happy. "I may have been kind of brave to climb the incline," he said, "but I'd much rather be a hero for these villagers."